Gentlemen, Mr. Butler's been up north, I hear. Don't you agree with this, Mr. Butler?
I think it's hard winning a war with words, gentlemen.
What do you mean, sir?
I mean, Mr. Hamilton, there's not a cannon factory in the whole South.
What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman?
I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen, sir.
Are you hinting, Mr. Butler, that the Yankees can lick us?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance.
That's treachery!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Ticks. So I want to pick up here where we left off with Brandon Johnson, because I wasn't sure if we were having technical difficulties because of the sound of the video or if it was me through StreamYard or whatever. So, of course, I cut it short. But anyway, before I get into this, I'm going to say this right now. When it comes to Black people and the Democratic Party, I'm very proud that last year, a lot of Black people, particularly Black men, they had their Negro wake-up call. As they sat there and watched as the Democrats placed illegals, criminal illegals, not just because they're illegal, but I mean, they're out here committing heinous crimes. They fought for them. They fought for transsexuals, not the gay community, but transsexuals. Fought for them hard. Fought for them hard, fought for the illegals hard, and just as Black men just told you, shut up, go out there and vote. We'll give you free weed and a prostate exam. I mean, you talk about, I mean, how much more do they have to insult you? So, Black men and some Black women, they decided to make the change. And I'm happy for that. I mean, after doing the Embrace Villainy channel and seeing the body cam footage, I realized that, in all honesty, we have a serious problem amongst us. The same thing that happened to me years ago, back in what I would say 2007, 2008. Back when I was watching, what's up, Detroit? Back when I was watching like Tommy Sotomayor and Tariq Nasheed and everything, but Tommy Sotomayor opened my eyes to, I just got started. He opened my eyes to what was going on in Black society concerning Black women. And I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was stunned because, I mean, I was coming out of Black consciousness movement. I was surrounded by a bunch of Ashes and what's going on with brothers and all this brotherly love and all this stuff. But I didn't really associate. And in the sense, I still try not to associate myself with the ghetto Black community because it's violent. It's violent. It's ignorant. It's very crime ridden, crime infested. They hold each other back. And they call that Blackness. And I'm like, oh, no. I wasn't raised to be like this. Like, to me, this isn't Blackness. This is ignorance. Like, this is horrible stereotype. Like, why couldn't we have the math stereotype like the Asians, or the money stereotype like the small hats? Like, no, we have to have the poverty and crime stricken and ignorant stereotype. I guess the only positive black stereotype as men that we have is our prowess, you know. But what good is that? It's nothing tangible, I guess. But looking at all those body cams and being inundated with black listeners who talk conservatively when it came to women, but vote and think democratically like their mamas, it was not helping me. Even when I restarted this channel, it was the same situation. And I'm like, okay, I have to start fresh, even if that means that I no longer have to have certain associations. Like, I have to start fresh, because I'm not saying this to talk down or anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, my mentality concerning this whole situation in blackness is completely different than what it was 2 years ago. Completely different. 2024 completely opened my eyes to what was really, really, truly going on with black people and so-called, well, not so-called, but with their so-called claims of racism. You know, getting arrested for committing crimes is not racist. You not being good enough. Prime example, Shedeur Sanders not being good enough to beat out Joe Flacco, and Taylor, I'm about to call him Taylor Lorenz Gabriel, even though that's not his real name. That's not racism. I mean, he's still on the team. Nobody wants the kid. Who called to trade for Shedeur? Caitlin Clark having more fans than Angel Reese and being a better basketball player, that's not racism. You just suck. Face it, you're not good enough. But I'm stuck with imagine being in a room with somebody that fails to see the obvious, or they see the obvious, but instead of pointing out the obvious, they want to make an excuse for it. And you're sitting up there looking at them like, what the hell are you talking about? You have to go on a nomadic journey and rebuild from scratch. You have to rebuild from scratch. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. But your peace of mind is better than idolatry. You got Tiffany Cross calling Stephen Miller a white supremacist on CNN, and it's like several times. And it's like, you know, this is why MSNBC fired you. This is why MSNBC fired Joy Reid. This is why they fired Roland Martin. This is why they fired Melissa Harris Perry. This is why they fired Al Sharpton. You can't be running around. You do understand that this Trump administration is good for suing folks, right? Ask CBS. Who else had to pay him out? Didn't MSNBC have to pay him out? Or was it CNN? Because somebody called him a grapist. They had to cough up the network had to cough up $15 million. Like, because, you know, that's slander. You just can't be all willy-nilly like that. I can't be around people like that. I can't be around the Tiffany Crosses. I can't be around the Amanda Seals. I can't be around people that still support Umar Johnson. I can't be around those folks. We don't think alike. We have different ideologies. And the one thing that I've learned, that when it comes to when you have a different ideology, around people that have a democratic mentality is that they will betray and hurt you as a way of revenge because you don't think as they think. Black people really do think that we are a monolith in our thought processes. Even if it means defending criminality. Which brings us to the start of this video. What the hell was he talking about? Anybody have any idea what the hell he was talking about? Sending out the National Guard is not looking to provoke violence. When you have Maxine Waters talking about a civil war, when you telling as Democratic leaders, especially members in Congress, when you're telling them to go out and fight, when you have a mayor and Karen Bass, we've set up networks to have people show up and harass ICE officials for arresting criminal illegals, not because they're illegal, but because they're criminals who are illegal. Rapists, murderers, drug dealers, robbers, muggers, human traffickers. And you have caravans of people showing up to get all in their face and harass them and throw rocks and bottles and stuff. Throwing a Subway sandwich. How are they the ones provoking the violence when they're the ones trying to keep law and order? I think carjackings dropped. They said it dropped 67%. I think only one person was murdered in the past 2 weeks. Since the night, it's so peaceful in Washington. That's ridiculous. The National Guard showed up. They wasn't even armed. They just showed up on the streets. It was a huge military presence, and all of the criminality just shut down. Shut down. I'm still laughing at how one dude on here, content creator, made a video, titled his video that the National Guard was there to they're harassing black people. And then he showed a video of the black people, YNs who are in their 20s, harassing DC cops. And the cops are looking at them like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? They weren't even messing with these dudes. The dudes was messing, they was harassing the cops. The cops just got in the car and left. But it's like, are you even paying attention to your own content? How did you see that? What was the message you were trying to convey? Because whatever it was, it wasn't working, sir. It was actually the complete opposite. I was baffled. You say, where were the arrests on black people from the National Guard? I'm not sure. I've been kind of busy past couple of days, but I'm not sure. But I do believe the National Guard does have the ability to detain until the police get there. And do keep in mind, DC is down thousands of police officers. Sorry, somebody text me something stupid. Anyway, yeah, Chicago was down 5,000 cops because of failed policing policies. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that video while we move on to the next one.
We are being targeted because of what and who we represent.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
I'm willing to go to Chicago, which is a big trouble, but we have a governor that refuses to admit he has problems.
It's unbelievable, right? Illinois state and local leaders fight to keep the National Guard out of Chicago. They say crime going down. But here are nearly 36 shootings in Chicago last weekend alone. 6 of them are fatal. Take a look at this. We'll slowly pan over. And petrified residents say they have had enough.
I don't see a reduction in crime. I see crime everywhere.
We've got a lot of challenges. We've especially had a lot of challenges the last 5 years.
It's a good thing that Trump is doing something about the crime rates.
I mean, that's what these people think. And these are what the numbers say. Look at the shootings in the timeline. And as I do that, let me bring in my next guest. He's made it his mission to help clean up the streets of Chicago. Project Hood founder, Pastor Corey Brooks, joins us now. So, Pastor, we keep hearing from the mayor and governor, crime's going down, leave us alone. Should we leave you guys alone?
Absolutely not. We need to invite President Trump in. We invite the National Guard in. You know, we've had 254 deaths in 233 days. 80% of those have been Black boys. And for anyone in our community to say that things are getting better and that people are safe, that is an outright lie. We need to do any and everything we can to keep our citizens safe. One of the number one priorities of government is to make sure that the citizens of America stay safe. And that should be the number one priority of the governor and the mayor, but it's not, because the only thing that they're really concerned when it comes to Black lives that matter is Black lives that matter that vote.
So we need people like you. I'd love for you to walk the streets with a camera and just ask people, what do you think? Would that help your life if there was National Guard here or more cops in your neighborhood with the National Guard holding down different other sectors that are less challenging? Because we look at these numbers, and this is what the governor and mayor are talking about. Murders are down 50%, robbery down 11%, burglary up 8%, felony theft up 46%, misdemeanor theft up 61%, motor vehicle theft up 80%. Those first two numbers is what they're leaning on. Those other numbers are so disturbing, it's sickening. So how do we break this? How are we going to break with Democrat against a Republican, and we end up in a political fight, and the people are not, their needs are not being addressed?
We break it by telling the truth. We break it by hearing what the people have to say from the community. There's no doubt about it that crime is still a serious problem in the city of Chicago. Anytime you have individuals breaking in stores downtown in Nordstrom's, that's a problem. We still have mothers who are burying young boys and their sons are dying prematurely. That is a serious issue. And for individuals to make us try to feel as if we're witnessing things getting better, that's not right. It's distasteful. And for those who live in our community, we realize that's a lie, and we realize that something needs to be said. That's why I'm speaking out every time I get a chance, because I bury these Black boys. I see the mothers who are crying. I see the deaths that are going on every day, and I witness the crime in our community every single day on the sidewalks.
So he says murders are down, but for 13 years, Chicago has the most murders of every U.S. city. He says numbers going in the right direction. 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities, with more than 1 million people. I mean, this is as bad as something you would see in a Middle East city, who is going through massive unrest. It used to be able to see in Syria. But so to do that, Pastor Brooks, you need the Black community or the urban community, I don't care what their heritage is, to stand up and speak out and say that mayor with 18% approval rating doesn't speak for me. How do we break this deadlock?
We do it just by doing what I'm doing today. Listen, I realize that the National Guard is a temporary fix, but it will calm things down. It's up to organizations like ours to continue to do the solutions and bring the help that we need. But we have to speak out. We have to say something. We have to let the world know that this is an issue in Chicago, and we can't let the mayor nor the governor dictate how that is said. 254 deaths in 233 days. If that were happening in any other community, it would be chaos.
Right, Pastor. The mayor says this is a race thing because the white president doesn't like black people, essentially, to paraphrase. Would you meet with the mayor and tell him what you just told me?
Yeah, I would tell the mayor exactly that. I would tell the mayor and the governor that, listen, 254 deaths in 233 days is a serious problem. This isn't about race. This isn't about President Trump. It's about the safety of American citizens. It's about the safety of people who live in Chicago. It's about the mothers who are seeing their children die every single day, being shot and killed. And we need to do any and everything possible to make sure that we stop the deaths in the city of Chicago.
And just for the record, you have not met with him, right?
No, I have not met with him, and I very seriously doubt that he'll meet with me.
Well, he should, if he wants to solve problems. He also rejected the thought of adding more cops. Says it's not going to help. He wants more housing projects. That is the mayor the people of Chicago elected. What an embarrassment. Pastor Brooks, you're a huge asset. Hopefully the mayor will realize that. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, let's just be honest. Yes, so they need the new votes from Hispanics and liberal white women. Meanwhile, majority of Hispanics is still going to vote Republican because they lived in Republican cities. Yeah, like let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Something that the Democrats really didn't think about is that these people come from hellholes. They come from socialist hellholes. They know what it's like to be in those type of areas where there is no law and order, where socialism is king. They don't want anything to do with that. That's why they came here. That's why the majority of them that come here, when they get their green cards and everything, they don't vote Democrat. I mean, I get it. You had 60% of Hispanic women. The second most amount of women that voted for Kamala Harris. They voted for her. But a lot of these Hispanic women today are following these white lesbian ideological thought patterns. They're think tanks. They're thinking like they're thinking. The single motherhood rate, I mean, they already had a high single motherhood rate, but now they're also getting these fatherless home rates because they're growing up in American culture. You say even Hispanics is getting deported. They still going to vote for Republicans in 2028. Most of our Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, some Mexicans, right? Because in all honesty, those who are going to vote in the 2028 election, vote Republican, they don't have to worry about getting deported. Unless they commit a crime and their paperwork is dirty. But they shouldn't even be allowed to vote. If your paperwork is dirty, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Not if you've got that green card. Not if you're under that, 5-10 year probationary period. You screw up, you're gone. You're gone. But what? So let's get on to, because you saw the contrast. Brandon Johnson and Fred Flintstone are sitting up here saying what they have to say, talking crap. But of course, the black pastor, he said what he had to say. But this is what Brandon Johnson did in response to everything. He did this morning.
Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Let me start by saying this. I do not take this executive action lightly. I would have preferred to work in a more collaborative approach. I would have preferred to do the work with our allies in city council to pass legislation ultimately. And we were doing that. We were doing just that. But some of the leaders who we are working with are standing behind me today. But unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of time. We have received credible reports that we have days, not weeks, before our city sees some type of militarized activity by the federal government. It is unclear at this time what that will look like exactly. We may see militarized immigration enforcement. We may also see National Guard troops. We may even see active duty military and armed vehicles in our streets. We have not called for this. Our people have not asked for this. But nevertheless, we find ourselves having to respond to this. Let me be absolutely clear. Although we believe the reports we have received are highly credible, this is an erratic, impulsive administration, and it is not always possible to understand and know exactly how he will move. He could change his mind, he could reverse course. In fact, I encourage him to do that. But still, we take these threats seriously, and we find ourselves in a position where we must take immediate, drastic action to protect our people from federal overreach. I'm signing an executive order today that will launch the Protecting Chicago initiative. This is a project that builds on the months of preparation that we have done that has led up to this very moment. Protecting Chicago will ensure that every Chicagoan knows their rights, that every single family is prepared, and every part of city government is directed to protect the people of Chicago from federal action. This sweeping executive order directs our Department of Law to pursue any and every legal mechanism to hold this administration accountable for violating the rights of Chicagoans. This order affirms that the Chicago Police Department will not collaborate with military personnel on police patrols or civil immigration enforcement. We will not have our police officers, who are working hard every single day to drive down crime, deputized to do traffic stops and checkpoints for the president. This order affirms the CPD officers will be directed to wear CPD uniforms and refrain from wearing masks so that residents can clearly distinguish them from federal agents. And finally, as I said, it establishes the Protecting Chicago initiative, the most sweeping campaign of any city in the country to protect ourselves from the threats and actions of this out-of-control administration. We will protect our Constitution, we will protect our city, and we will protect our people.
What people are you looking to protect, though? I mean, you have Black people who are showing up to your city council meetings, cursing you out for your failed policies. For your $800 million, I know it's 700 and some change, $1 million deficit because you're funding illegals. You're shutting down schools. And keep in mind, you've dumped these illegals, criminal illegals, in the south side of Chicago. You shut down schools to house illegals in them. And they're still there. You're using taxpayer funds to feed, clothe, and house these people. These people can't even work jobs because they don't speak English. Please explain to us why you're protecting them so hard. I mean, I get it. I understand exactly. I went over it several times, how these guys, they appear to be carteled up. He said, if you take a look at the population of Hispanics are in sanctuary cities versus living in red counties like Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, even Kansas. Yeah. More like protecting himself from taking accountability for his F-ups. Yeah. And he doesn't seem to understand that Pritzker let me say this about Black Democrats. You guys are so stupid. You're so stupid. Pritzker, and other white Democrats who are above your station they're setting you all up to fail. Do you not understand? You're about to be the fall guy. There was a lady that was I saw the video today. There was a lady that was at the town hall meeting who begged, said to him to his face, I hope that when they go to locking people up for protecting these illegals, these criminal illegals, she said, I hope that Trump and Tom Homan start with you first, because he smirked at her. He smirked at her when she was like, you came in here, you said you wouldn't raise taxes. You raised our property taxes up almost 300%. And then they dropped it down because the vote was slapped down. So he dropped it down to 150%. I think they slapped that down too, because they're in such a deficit. You're millions of dollars in the deficit when it comes to the school board. And Pritzker told you he wasn't going to help you do a gosh darn thing. You wasn't getting 1 red cent from him. You are what? This dude was an elementary school teacher, 6th grade? 6th grade school teacher, and y'all elected him. When I call this dude a coon, this is a coon. This is a coon. Everybody, when we expect Black leaders, when they get in the office to, hey, look, at least look out for your people. All right. If you're not going to, quote unquote, do anything for us, then don't put us in harm's way. But that's exactly what he did. He put us in harm's way.
We do not want to see tanks in our streets.
There won't be tanks.
We do not want to see families ripped apart.
There won't be families ripped apart. We do not want
grandmothers thrown into the back of unmarked vans.
There won't be grandmothers thrown in the back of unmarked vans. Stop selling fear.
We don't want to see homeless Chicagoans harassed or disappeared by federal agents.
So you don't want to see the homeless people get off the streets and get the help that they need. You don't want to see homeless people snatched up off the streets and placed into shelters that can actually help them and get them the psychological or drug counseling or drug program help that they need. You don't want them to be able to get 3 hots in a cot. Not in the prison, but in a homeless facility. You don't want to see that happen. Okay.
We don't want to see Chicagoans arrested for sitting on their porch.
Nobody's getting arrested for sitting on their porch. That's not what's going on in DC.
That's not who we are as a city. And that's not who we are as a nation.
And nobody's doing that.
The governor, the county president, and with our federal delegation, and we are in complete alignment. The time for action is now.
What do you mean by that?
With that, I will sign this executive order and then return for follow-up questions.
What does he mean by the time for action is now? What are you planning on doing? You say not only that he's giving them $600 million towards, but he's charging more Americans of the higher interest rate of raising taxes, and most Americans are paying more than like 35% because they wanted more taxpayers. And that the point of Democrats, yeah, he already did that, ripping families apart, particularly fathers away from their children. The criminals of Chicago are a byproduct of that. Thank you. The Democratic Party has done more to destroy Black people, Black families, than any I mean, the Republican Party didn't even do that. They would rather you be together. Strong homes build strong communities. Homes with mothers and fathers in them produce strong communities. People care about their environment because they own the house. Remember how Miss Parker, not Miss Parker, Miss Parker, not Miss Parker, but you know, the old lady sitting outside on the porch, hanging out the window. I mean, that was neighborhood watch. Your father coming home before your mama done already told him what you did, but then he gets stopped by Miss Jenkins next door, 2 houses down. You see him outside your bedroom window, sitting up there talking to her.
Made it to the effort.
You see him talking to her. And you see him look back and he see you peeking out the window. He point at you. What else did he do? Yeah, she done told all your business because she done seen you do it. I mean, that's what makes a neighborhood. That's what keeps a neighborhood safe. That's how you keep children in check. The boys aren't scared of their mamas. What boy do you know that's scared of his mama? He up here twerking next to his mama. Ooh, I almost said something else. Nope, I'll say it. He's sitting up here learning how to please a man. Right next to his mama. If he's not pleasing his mama, the way some of these women, oh my gosh, the way some of these women be talking. Black people currently are the byproducts of the Democratic Party. White, lesbian, feminist, man-hating ideology. We have to shake that monster off our back. You say it's disgusting to hear from them. Yeah, we have to shake that monkey off our back. That's been a monster for us. That's been a monster for us. That's been a monster for us. Hit the cash app, y'all. Hit the cash app. But I'm being serious. Take a step back and really look at it. The Democratic Party has never been a friend of black people. What do they say? The biggest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. The Democratic Party is our devil. They smiling in our face and stabbing us in our back and treating us like we're slaves. They believe that poetic justice, black love BS. Man, whoo.
Yes.
Thank you for this. You said months of preparation. Could you just talk about what that's been like trying to get everyone on the same page together?
Wait. Can we laugh at the brother right here doing the sign language? Because me watching him do sign language, I'm thinking that he's speaking in jive like the two black dudes in the movie Airplane. Now look at here, y'all. This is how it's gonna be. This mother sucker here said, y'all better lay down. That's what.
Yeah, well, look, we're a welcoming city, first of all. So that ordinance has been in place for the last 40 years. We strengthened it under my administration.
Picture him talking in jive.
President Trump secured enough electoral votes to become the 47th president. We are fully aware of his animus against working people and particularly immigrant communities. So that preparation was making sure that all of our sister agencies and city departments understood their assignment, and particularly making sure that people know their rights. And so there's been a continuous process all the way up until the time in which I had to testify before the Oversight Committee. And then even well beyond that, we've seen this president trample all over our Constitution. So, we've already filed multiple lawsuits, I believe 40 lawsuits. You just saw that the courts have deemed most of his taxes to benefit the ultra-rich or illegal. So this is not a surprise to us in terms of his erratic and petulant behavior. But this is also about making sure that we are strengthening all of our departments across the board to ensure that we are protecting Chicagoans. That's what this is about. Of course, we would have preferred to go through the natural course of the legislative process, and we will continue to do that with our investments. But this is about protecting the people of Chicago.
Can you talk about why you need an executive order to do that? Is this not work the city is already doing, informing people of their rights? What does this executive order actually do?
Well, one of the things that it does is it ensures that there's a clear distinction between our local police department and federal agents. It gives a very clear directive, but it also gives very specific directives to our law department to make specific FOIA requests so that if there's any immigration enforcement that's happening in our city, we have to know about it. Just back in June 4th, there was an entire operation in our city that the federal government didn't disclose. This is about uncovering the truth. But this is also about making sure that every single legal measure that's available to us, that my law department pursues it. But it's also ensuring that all of our departments are in lockstep to protect Chicagoans. That's what this is about. This president continues to go well beyond the bounds of the Constitution to the extent in which our democracy is in peril right now. I'm going to do everything in my power as the mayor of this city to protect Chicagoans.
I'm going to say this right now. They sign their name on the dotted line knowing things will complicated when they get crumbs from local administration. I'm gonna say this right now. Whenever I hear them say constitutional crisis and democracy is in peril, the only thing I hear is that the Democratic Party is in peril. Because if you've been paying attention to my channel since Trump got elected, you see how he's dismantled. He has slowly but surely dismantled the Democratic Party. He took away their illegal power base by killing USAID because they were just stealing money out of that, which also stopped funding a lot of these Democratic networks like Politico, CNN, MSNBC, CBS. You saw what he did to PBS and NPR. All right, he took away their funding because they were very biased. They were taking money from the Democratic Party to say Democratic talking points. Of course, like I said, he sued CBS, sued CNN, and won those cases. He opened up the media to people like me. I mean, you just saw with Carolyn Levitt, her last press conference, who was sitting in the lead chair, but Officer Tatum. That press room is full. That press room is so full that Trump, as you heard him say, we're going to build a ballroom. We're going to build a couple of ballrooms here in the White House. So that way, if I decide to do a press conference, everybody can be in it. Sure, not everybody gets a chance to get their questions asked, but everybody's in there. You're in there. People are tired of the Trump bad rhetoric. We've been hearing Trump bad since 2016. Well, 2015. 10 years of Trump bad, but can't prove a damn thing. The people that took him to court, Fannie Lewis, crooked as hell. She's looking at going to jail. Letitia James, she's looking at going to jail. Come to find out, Obama is a damn POS. I mean, but we already knew that. Architect of the Russia hoax. Now you've got the gerrymandering. California is trying desperately to overseat them, but it won't matter. Janine Pyro, or is it Pyro? But the chick he hired, the special prosecutor out there in Washington D.C., you know, she's a shark. She's a bulldog. She don't play around like Pam Bondi. All right, when she come at you, she come at you. She don't tell you you're not gonna have any dessert for dinner, but then sneak you a couple of cookies when dad's not watching. No. You're going to bed without dessert, and I'm coming up with the belt. So prepare yourself. Go and take you a shower. I'm gonna give you a good hour to dry off. I want that skin nice and tender when I come in there. But apparently, word on the street is that the reason why he hired her as special prosecutor is that he's actually going to go after not just the Jack Smith guy, but she's there. Apparently, she's there to handle congressional Democrats who have been stealing money from USAID and Act Blue. All right, Nancy Pelosi and whatnot, Chuck Schumer, AOC, Ilhan Omar. She's going after them. That's supposed to be her job because they're right there in the district. It's too big. It's too big for Pam Bondi. Plus, I don't think she can handle those cases anyway. But Janine Pirro, that's her specialty. She doesn't lose cases. She doesn't put you under an investigation that, you know, and then that's it. She don't just say it on TV and then call it a day. No. Her little aides get to working. Do you understand? They put in some work. You notice Tulsi Gabbard has been real quiet. She was supposed to be some type of darling, possibly JD Vance's running mate in 2028. But when she messed around there with that whole Iran situation, she fumbled the bag on that because the Democrat in her came out making that unauthorized video and whatnot and giving out bad intel. Yeah, she sat down, got her face off TV, and then she dug up the whole Russia collusion thing, the Russia hoax between Obama and Hillary. She dug all of that up. Yeah, she actually did. She's doing her job. She's no longer getting on TV trying to be a media darling like Pam Bondi is. No. She's actually doing her job behind the scenes, which is, hey, this is what I hired you for. I didn't hire you to be on Fox News once a week. I hired you to do your damn job. So do your damn job. So she's trying to crawl out of that doghouse. But Janine Pirro, yeah. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out on what happens with that. Okay, let's continue.
How important do you think it is to be ahead of this before any federal agents are in Chicago to make sure that CPD and federal law enforcement know how to work together? And there's a lot of coordination that happens between those two, and I think this is a step forward, right, to make sure that you're taking out federal agents from the shadows and defining what we expect.
Well, look, you framed it quite well, and quite frankly, the reason why this executive order is so paramount is because even though we know that this president is behaving outside of the bounds of the Constitution, it hasn't stopped him. But
no, he's not. If he was operating outside the bounds of the Constitution, the Supreme Court would have stepped in.
It stops in Chicago. And so this is about making a very clear distinction between what our law enforcement engages in versus what federal agents engage in. Because look, we have collaborated before, particularly getting guns off the streets of Chicago, the trafficking of drugs, the trafficking of human beings across this country.
Okay.
We have just had a major breakthrough where guns that were trafficked in from Indiana and Mississippi. We were able to interrupt that and get over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago.
Okay.
That's not what's happening right now.
Well, what's happening right now?
Makes it emphatically clear that this president is not going to come in and deputize our police department.
I hate to tell you this, because do understand, the only thing he signed was a piece of paper saying that local law enforcement cannot collaborate with ICE. Even though you heard what he said, well, we collaborated with the feds before in getting drugs and human traffickers off the streets or whatnot. So now that Trump wants to use the National Guard to do that, while at the same time crack down on illegal immigration, you know, with this little sissy boy right here, no human being is illegal. Not even the issue, bro. What a waste of $6.99. Oh, you probably paid $15.99 because you're that dumb. But any rate. Oh, and good job putting your family out there, you know. Good job. So now that they want to crack down on crime caused by illegals and YNs, you have a problem? I mean, I want you to understand exactly what Brandon Johnson is trying to do here. He wants crime to be legal. I mean, it already is legal in a lot of these blue cities, but he's trying to fight to make sure that crime stays legal in Chicago.
I want to ask, these reports that you're talking about, is this what we've been hearing about in the media? Is this a new report?
Yeah, Tulsi's been doing it.
When will city residents be informed of what?
Yeah, she's pretty.
Well, I'm telling you what the city knows, right? And here's what we do know, that the federal government, under the direction of President Donald Trump, is preparing to send an expansive slew of federal agents to the city of Chicago. And whether it's border control, ICE agents, right? This part, which is the most upsetting, is that he has funded the ICE division of the government at a rate that is only second to the American United States government and the Chinese military. And that's dangerous, right? And so we are hearing that he plans to send these individuals to the city of Chicago this week as early as Friday. But let's be very clear what his ultimate motives are, though. He wants to send in federal troops. Make no mistake about it. He wants to send in the National Guard. He is looking to provocate, to justify his failures. The fact of the matter is it's disrespectful to law enforcement. Our police department has worked incredibly hard to drive down violence in the city of Chicago. This is not about violence reduction, because if it were, he would be making investments. And I can tell you what those investments are.
Making investments.
32% reduction in homicides. Shootings are down almost 40%. Shooting victims are down almost 40%. So this is about the militarization of cities. And in the city of Chicago, we're going to be very clear about our position to protect democracy, to protect Chicagoans, to protect our people.
But you're not. Y'all hear him, right? Y'all hear him, right? Invest in what exactly? You guys lost all. Since Brandon Johnson has been in office, and I'm very surprised that these people haven't done a recall on him. I'm highly shocked that these people haven't done a recall vote on him. What the hell are y'all doing? But ever since he's been in office, Chicago lost all 4 of its Walmarts. All 4 of its Walmarts because of theft. Businesses downtown have shuttered because of theft and street takeovers. Teens running wild, YNs, looting, destroying, burning. And he does absolutely nothing about it. In fact, he kind of champions it. Oh, these are just kids out just having fun. They're letting off steam. letting off steam? Since when is destroying businesses, looting businesses, how is that letting off steam? You see why I have a serious problem with Democratic blacks who support, defend, condone, and celebrate and protect criminality, like Brandon Johnson. These are your coons. There's nothing black excellence about criminality. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's what Brandon Johnson is. He's what I call a pro-black. And to me, a pro-black is somebody that celebrates and condones and thunderclaps black people no matter what they do, but most especially if they're criminals. You know, he's the type that would throw a party for like his oldest son getting out of jail, but not his youngest son graduating from college. You understand? His youngest son graduated from college. Oh, good job, son. Yeah. All right. Oldest son getting out of jail. Oh my God. It's like a family reunion. He one of them type of blacks.
The federal agents are to break your rule on no not search for the badge number. Will you sue?
We will use every single tool that is at our disposal, and that includes the courts. It's an area in which at least there's some semblance of
fight for the
check and balance in this country. Look, he's tried to sue cities like mine, and he lost.
And won. No, he's won.
Trying to withhold federal dollars because we are a welcoming city. And so, yes, we will use the courts if that's necessary.
And did you say as early as Friday, like 6 days from now?
Yes, these are a matter of days. We don't have weeks to, we're talking about days. And so this is about making sure that we are prepared, that there's a real clear guidance, and that there are absolute directives coming from my office to all of our city departments and sister agencies and to all of Chicagoans of how we can stand up against this tyranny.
This tyranny. Like what the Democrats weren't doing the past 4 years was tyranny. But apparently Trump is, I guess, the word on the street is that he's going to be sending in the troops either Monday or Tuesday. But usually this is because it's Labor Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken, Memorial Day weekend. What weekend is this coming up? Well, what Monday, whatever day it is. You don't keep up with these things when you don't have to punch clock. Normally those are big murder and shooting, big violent days in Chicago. You know how it is. Every holiday, no matter what it is, if it falls on the weekend, the Monday morning numbers of what happened in Chicago come out. 57 people shot, 18 dead in Chicago. You know, I mean, when we argue, remember we used to argue with quote unquote white people, racist white people online, and they would quickly say, just in all honesty, and it worked, it shut you up when they say, well, what about Chicago? What about Chicago? I live in Chicago. Yeah, but you know, you talking all this Black Lives Matter stuff, but what about Chicago? How come black folks is killing themselves like crazy in Chicago? You got cameras all over the place, but you hear about the shootings, but you don't hear about any arrests.
Yes, Mayor, the credible reports that your administration is getting, does that include any specific details as to how many federal agents, how many troops, how many armored vehicles? What is like the blueprint? Are they going to have checkpoints, or how's that going to look like?
Well, we don't have.
Yeah. So what did they tell you? Did they tell you how many? Like she said, did they tell you how many troops? How many armored vehicles? What are the checkpoints? What is their mission here when they get here? What information do you know? Who told you what?
Those specifics, but what we can go off of what
you don't know
in Los Angeles, and I've been in conversation with Mayor Bass. That's the benefit of this particular moment, that we have been in communications with mayors across this country, sharing what their experiences have been. And so what his ultimate desire is is to come into our city, to break the Constitution, to break our democracy, and to break our city,
to seize our democratic stranglehold.
We're going to be prepared for.
To seize our democratic stranglehold on Chicago. That's what they're going to do. Yes.
For anything and everything. And the best level of preparation is to make sure that people know their rights and that all of our city
people know their rights.
Agencies know exactly what I expect of them in the event the federal government works outside the bounds of the Constitution.
And has your office made any attempts to reach out to the White House?
No.
There is no secret of what I want from the federal government.
They don't give a shit what you want. Who cares what you want?
Ignores it.
Who are you?
$800 million that he took from cities like Chicago.
We're not giving you $800 million. The Trump is not giving you $800 million because you don't know how to balance your budget. You're like a spoiled 16-year-old girl who was given the family credit card. You was just supposed to get you some boots and a jacket. Instead, you come back with a whole new winter wardrobe. Talking about some, can I get the keys to the car? Girl, you don't.
What a slap in the face to the people who serve this city to try to override local authority. We've said fund our education system.
No.
Invest in affordable housing.
No.
Ensure that we are collaborating to get guns off the streets of Chicago.
No.
We're stopping guns being trafficked in from states that voted for him. And so now we do all of this hard work, this group assignment in the city of Chicago, and he wants to come at the end of the year before the assignment is due to try to put his name on the paper. He is reckless and out of control. He is the biggest threat to our democracy than we've experienced in the history of our country.
Is he?
Orders already been reached with mixed reaction. He's not here. Alderman Lopez tweeting out early this morning, an order not worth the paper it's printed on. In reality, how effective do you think this order is going to be? Because these are federal agents we're talking about. They're taking orders from the federal government, not from the city of Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't take orders from the federal government. Thank you all very much.
What the Nick? He don't take orders from his constituents. He don't take orders from the federal government. He answered to J.D. Pritzker and the Democratic Party. And look, she think that's funny. Y'all think this is funny, huh? We'll see how funny it is when the feds come rolling in. But this is what he's trying to protect. Yeah, y'all clap and shake hands. Meanwhile,
welcome back. The Civilian
in
Office
Chicago,
of Police Accountability says it is investigating a shooting involving a Chicago police officer.
And so Gabriela Primus has been on the scene there at 58th and Princeton this morning. She's joining us live now with some new details. Good morning, Gabby.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, and the main scene is just down the block from us, 58th and Shields. It's obviously blocked off by police tape here. But here's some recent Skyfox videos, some aerial views of where we are right now, including some earlier vantage points from the ground. Now, COPA released that investigators are responding to an officer-involved shooting in the 5800 block of South Shields, as they said, which is right down the block from us. We have some preliminary info, some new information. The Chicago Fire Department transported 3 officers and 1 civilian to UFC. No word on their conditions. Now, initial tipster reports say that Chicago police responded to a call of shots fired at police with an officer down. Now, that is not confirmed by CPD. And here are also some shots from Skyfox near another scene close by in the Englewood neighborhood where there's police activity, but it's unclear if the incident here is related. The locations are 70th Street in Yale and another scene at the 75th Street entrance to the Dan Ryan Expressway. 75th and the Dan Ryan is the Skyfox video you should see. A white van is there. Unofficial reports say that that van was the fleeing vehicle from the 7th District where the incident started. Again, there is no official word on that information. Here's what we see in the last hour, though. Activity in the alleyway still here on 58th. Some detectives showing up with vans canvassing the area. I did chat with some neighbors here. One dad shared his experience this morning.
I'm kind of nervous, coming home. I just got off work, and I got my family on the porch, and they nervous too. So I don't really know what to make out of this situation for real.
So obviously that family is shaken up. Their alleyway or the back of their house faces the alleyway where the police really are. They said that they heard gunshots around 4:50 this morning, but they also haven't heard any official information from police. We'll keep you updated on this story on air and online. For now, I'll set.
Yeah, he wants to protect that.
From using his voice to change laws, not only here in the city of Chicago, but the state, to 17-year-old Isaiah Burden being shot multiple times here in this park in West Ridge, and what police say was a robbery at the hands of another teenager.
But today I'm standing here to break that silence.
A young voice for change almost silenced in an armed robbery.
He shot him, and then as my son was on the ground, he took the backpack off his body, took his phone away.
It happened last month while the 17-year-old Mather High School student and youth leader, Isaiah Burden, was waiting for a friend at a park near Granville and Hoyne in West Ridge. His father speaking with me over the phone about the near-deadly encounter.
Somebody just came up behind him, blocked him off with a scooter, pulled out a gun, said, "Give me your stuff." He was like, "I'm not giving nothing to you." And the kid kept saying, "Oh, I'm broke. I need that backpack. I need that phone."
Isaiah then tried to run away toward kids playing soccer nearby.
From what he told me, he said, "I'm thinking, if he won't shoot me because I'm in this park surrounded by people and kids."
He was shot 3 times. Chicago police announcing today the arrest of another 17-year-old boy now charged with attempted murder and armed robbery.
We deserve to heal. We deserve to be heard, and we deserve real support.
I guarantee you, based on today's crime laws, especially in these democratic cities, that those charges will be reduced. I bet you they'll be reduced to aggravated assault. Watch. They'll be reduced to aggravated assault, and he'll probably get probation. Watch. This is why when they sit up here and talk about the crime stats have dropped. These stats are down. These stats are down. Yeah, because you lessen the charges. You lessen the charges, especially for minors. The detectives and the arresting officers, they can, the prosecuting attorney, the DA, they can charge. Look, they can charge you with whatever they want to. Just because you was initially charged with attempted murder, by the time you get in front of a judge, it's aggravated assault. Probation. Why do you think, after hearing the Carmelo Anthony case, why do you think so many black people was like, "Oh, he was defending himself against racists"? So they want him to get a slap on the wrist or have the charges dropped completely, even though he has a known record for fighting in school, for being violent, and that wasn't the first time that he was caught with a knife at school. He's a known troublemaker and a thief. Known troublemaker and thief, allegedly. But that's the word on the street coming out of that school. He's a bad egg. I mean, look at who his parents associate with. His parents associate with criminals. Dominic Alexander. They paid Charleston White a bag to at least speak on their son. That only happened once, and now they're linked up with some chick and her husband that are scammers. One's a former, I think one of them is a former cop. They all about the bag. They trying to hustle people for money, man.
attack coming just months after Isaiah gave a speech in Springfield in May, pushing for legislation to prohibit AI therapy in Illinois.
We need real people who care for us.
His efforts also backing the youth-led
AI
initiative in
therapy.
Chicago this summer against a now failed city curfew ordinance.
Because Isaiah was in the hospital, like they
AI
still
therapy.
went to City Hall and they still fought that bill.
I want to see my son grow up. I want to see him live a long life.
Isaiah remains at Northwestern Hospital recovering from multiple surgeries, but his family tells me they're hoping he's out of the hospital soon to continue his advocacy work.
A deadly stabbing in Chicago's Auburn Gresham neighborhood early this morning. Police were doing a well-being check near 78th and Peoria when they found a man with multiple stab wounds. Officers are speaking with a person of interest.
That's not me.
Another
no,
story
that was
that's
it.
new at 10 tonight. Police are now linking crash and grab burglaries at 2 Chicago Foot Locker stores. Our surveillance camera capturing this break-in right here in Inglewood last Tuesday morning. Police say that same crew hit a Foot Locker in Bronzeville yesterday morning. The two stores are about 7 miles apart, and police have not connected these burglaries to another incident at a Humboldt Park Foot Locker that happened on Thursday morning.
Breaking in Chicago's South Loop tonight, where a man was shot in the head while walking outside. It happened on Roosevelt near Canal, where several stores and restaurants are located. Police say a man walked up to the victim, pulled out a gun, and opened fire. The man got himself to Stroger Hospital, where he is in fair condition tonight. No one is in custody.
Of course not. Of course not. You say that event should motivate him to cease activism and seek a better life outside Chicago instead. You know what? I said the same thing in my skull brain. I was like, he's not going to be an activist no more. He's going to say F these N words. That's exactly what he that's what I'll be thinking. They say nothing turns a liberal into a conservative than after they get a taste of violence. It takes me back again to that story up in Minnesota. This Indian chick, she was one of those bleeding heart liberals. Oh, let the criminals go free. They just need social worker Shanice and some midnight basketball and 4 YNs early in the morning. She had this pink Jeep. She was putting her kids in the car, getting ready to take them to school. Exclusive neighborhood. 4 YNs carjacked her, popped her upside the head, pistol whipped her, broke her leg. Luckily, they had kicked the kids out of the car and stole her Jeep. After that, she wanted to throw the book at him. The DA down in New Orleans, another bleeding heart Negro liberal. Let the criminals go free. And then 4 YNs carjacked him and his mama, had him on video, him and his mama looking like Carl Lewis and Jackie Joyner Kersey running down the street. His mama was 80-something years old, but she was right with him, boy. They was running for their lives. Either he's painfully slow or that old woman got some pep in her step. Yeah, they caught the dudes. They want to throw the book at them. What? I'm sorry. You didn't want to lessen the charges to joyriding? Isn't that what you were doing with everybody else that got caught carjacking people? You were lessening the charges to trespass of a motor vehicle. You don't want to do that for you, though? Interesting. Very interesting.
In today's video, CNN confirms at least.
Hold on. I know that wasn't it for all my news.
Well, you spoke several times before about
Yeah, I'm about to say that wasn't it from all my news, was it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was it. That was it for all my news. So Yeah, that's where we're sitting. That's where we're sitting. I feel sorry for my black folks in Chicago. The mayor don't care nothing about y'all. He'd rather protect the criminals. He'd rather protect the criminals. Oh, so did y'all see? Okay, unrelated sports news. Because when I be talking to y'all about this football stuff, y'all be talking about, well, they didn't give that smoke to Eli Manning and John Elway. Yes, they did. Y'all just have y'all aren't old enough or have short memories to remember. John Elway didn't want to get drafted by the Colts. So the Colts screwed him over. All right. And he wound up going to Denver, where, of course, you know what happened. With Eli Manning, he didn't want to go to the Chargers. Chargers had the number 1 pick. He didn't want to go to the Chargers. He wanted to go to the Giants. Giants had the number 4 pick. So, of course, as you know, the Chargers drafted Eli Manning. The Giants drafted Phillip Rivers, and then they waited till like damn near the first round was over with before they went ahead and swapped players. All right, they traded the quarterbacks to, each other, and the rest is history. But I guarantee you, for like a good 3-4 hours, 3-4-5 hours, that Manning family household was a good Lord. I can only imagine all the hypertension that was going on and the calling of agents and whatnot and media pressers and everything. And of course, Eli didn't start off too well. He's like a borderline Hall of Famer only because he beat the Patriots in 2 Super Bowls. Outside of that, please, he was a herpadirt. He was a herpadirt. Eli wasn't somebody that, you're down by 21 points in the 4th quarter and you expect him to come out and win. Even Peyton Manning wasn't that guy. He was not that guy when he came out of college. That whole playoffs, you kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a damn game, another game. Yeah, that was it Mora? Talking about Peyton Manning. He had an epic meltdown because Peyton Manning threw away the game. He had one of literally the worst games of his career as a rookie. Matter of fact, they wound up firing Mora at the end of the season, and he was a damn good coach. He was leading the Saints to the playoffs, and the Saints were not a good team, but he was a good enough coach to get them there. Peyton had to develop, so did Eli. This whole thing with Shador, it's gonna look. If you're a good player, it doesn't matter whether you're playing with the 1s or the 12s. Your talent is going to shine no matter what. It's going to shine. That Carolina game against the Carolina starters, them Carolina starters cannot be, they're not good enough to be backups for the Rams. There's a starting defensive line. Yeah, they're not good enough to be backups on the Rams because the Rams are a playoff team. The Panthers are like what? Whether they go 4-12, 4-13 or something like that. They were terrible. They couldn't stop anybody. So Arch Manning, I say all of that because Arch Manning, the most hyped college quarterback prospect in the past, 2 years, especially coming into this year, supposed to be the golden wonder kid or whatever, silver spoon in his mouth and coming out of his butt cheeks or whatnot. He was peeing and pooping in golden diapers. Ohio State made a fool out of him. He embarrassed himself today against OSU. Embarrassed himself. He pooped the bed, the hallway, the bathroom, the toilet, the kitchen. Told you about eating that gas station sushi. Yeah, we got embarrassed today, and he was saying that he might not come out this year. He might stay for 2 years, and personally, I think that's a good idea. Like, because this year, I mean, they're gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink at you, boy. And a lot of these defensive coordinators come out of the NFL. They come out of the NFL. They love to frustrate. I mean, they don't even worry about quarterbacks in college because they know that, you know, you guys are terrible. A lot of you guys are terrible. It's normally about at least about 4 or 5 of you that would at least be on an NFL roster come opening day. But a lot of you all are terrible. Terrible. They're not worried about you, but I would say 2 years as a starter down there in Texas in order to adjust playing against NFL defenses, learning how to read an NFL defense while in college. Get some games under your belt, prove yourself before anybody talks about he's a first round pick. Well, he didn't look like a first round pick today. All right. So you guys be safe, man. You gotta be safe out there. It's a cold world out there. And we'll see what happens come Monday, Tuesday, if not tomorrow, as far as Chicago and the National Guard. That'll be very interesting to see, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was a police officer and the National Guard came rolling up or whatnot, I'm snitching. Yeah, the illegals over there. Yeah, the YNs that like to rob people that we can't arrest. Yeah, they're over there. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me show y'all this. I was getting ready to call it night. Hold on. I've got to show y'all this. This is just sad.
Oh,
Hey, let me get this.
What's that, an energy drink?
Yeah.
Blue?
How much is it?
$3, bro.
Matter of fact, I don't even want it.
You don't want it?
No, let me get change.
Oh, you just want change?
Yeah, let me get change.
All right. So you don't want this?
You see, he threw a $50 bill on the counter. That's a $50 bill. First he wanted to drink, then he said, screw it. Once the guy opened the register, he like, screw it, just let me get change, all right?
Change?
Yeah, let me get change.
All right. So you don't want this?
Nah.
So just change, right?
Yeah.
$20, $30, $40. There you go.
Hey, hold on, bro.
50 cents.
Hey, I'm missing the 20, bro.
How you missing the 20? You
Look,
gave me a
bro.
50.
20, 40.
Look, 20, the 210, and the 25. I'm missing another 20.
Bro, that's 50 right there, bro.
What you mean, bro? I just counted it, bro.
That's 50 right here, bro. Look.
Bro, what y'all trying to butt me or something, bro?
Watch this.
Look,
Watch
man,
this.
look. Let me count this for
This
you.
is
Look.
so sad.
Watch
Look,
this.
you can't even grab the money, bro.
This 50 right here, man. Look, 20, 30, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50.
Nah, bro.
That's 50 right here, bro. What you talking
50,
about?
bro.
Yeah, that's. You said
This
you wanna
kid can't
change,
even
right? 'Cause
count.
you was gonna buy this. 20, 30, 40, 50, bro.
Bro, I
He
don't
can't
want
even
that,
count.
bro, but
I know,
I'm
but
missing
look.
20, bro.
It ain't missing nothing, man.
What y'all trying to buck me or something, bro?
No, you just tripping. That's 50 right there.
Alright, bro.
Yeah. Have a good day.
He can't
Something
even
wrong
count.
with him.
You got the illegal coming up right behind him, trying to buy a lime. But yeah, he can't even count. He can't even count. He can't even count. Matter of fact, peep this.
All right.
You're gonna sell these fucking shoes.
Give him the money, bro. Thank you for coming back, but the only issue I was trying to explain to them is 2 left shoes, so we can't sell this anyway. Bro, relax. Bro, relax. I'm sorry, bro. I can't take this. I'm sorry, man, bro. Bro, relax. Chill. Bro, relax. I'm just trying to explain to you why I can't take it, because it's 2 left shoes, man. I'll be passing on, man. I'm sorry, man. Y'all have a good one. What the hell? Chill, bro. Alright, chill. I got you.
Yeah. Tried to scam them by bringing 2 left shoes in. And then throw their stuff behind the counter, to come behind the counter, to have an excuse to go behind the counter. When in all honesty, I swear to God, some of these businesses just whatever, man. But this is just a small taste of the things that be going on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You guys be safe.
President Trump, real asshole. Why he wanna deport all these Chineses and Mexicans and shit? If you deport us, where you gonna get your nails done, huh? No more mani-pedi for you, asshole. You like kung pao chicken? Well, no more kung pao chicken for you. You like star belly? Yes. Well, no more star belly for you, because there's no Mexicans no more. They can't pick your star bellies no more, asshole.
I don't care.
Why is that wrong?
Why is she being bullied for acknowledging something that's smart, truth, and factual?
Well, a couple things. Number one, whether you're an athlete or anyone else, if I hear you use the phrase "my truth," I immediately then discount everything else you say, because there isn't my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And when you start using phrases like that, it tells me that
that's not true.
Your brain has been captured by something that I don't really respect.
That's not true.
Number 2.
That's not true.
RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
category of crime?
One thing I'll just get a little emotional about is it does, as a woman, feel pretty. I feel like the humanity of women and their rights.
But yeah, I mean, the white woman fake crying thing, I could do it too, but and then you just turn it off.
No one cares. And even in the face of Trump and everything that he represented, that's a tough pill.
Because y'all got false narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of y'all. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
You don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
I'm also the supervisor of Thorn Township. So when do I have time for little people? I don't. They beneath me.
And not let people feed you poison.
And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet